to, and you've seen my resume. I've done a lot in my history. I've done a lot in my career, and Wallach's therapeutics are eclipse anything.
And that's because I mean, he's several types of doctor, but it's the veterinary angle. When I heard him a decade ago, and I didn't really dial it in, but I heard it because I'd worked for a large animal vet off and on for over a year total. They were obsessed at Texas A&M with the animals getting their minerals for health, for being able to handle stresses, and it was always minerals deficiencies connected to everything. So the veterinary medicine people knew this. I think that's why Dr. Wallach was able to develop all this.
Well, he was in charge of $25 million of federally funded research from 71 to 83. They did 26,000 autopsies, 10 million blood chemistries. The publication that's the result of that 12-year research protocol that Wallach did, he did the whole thing, is in the Smithsonian. It's a national treasure. And it is that body of research combined with decades of clinical experience that makes Wallach's therapeutics so extraordinary. It's not because of, anything, mystical or anything under the table. It's because Wallach did the hard time. Now, there's no physician on the planet that's done $25 million of federally funded research, 26,000 autopsies, 10 million blood chemistries, and then followed that up with decades of clinical work. It doesn't exist. Wallach's the only one. I'm telling you, Wallach is the Albert Einstein of holistic medicine.
No, I mean, people don't know, but I looked into it back when I was hearing these claims. It's true. I mean, he was involved in, saving types of rhinos. He was, the name in zoological veterinary research. And of course, a lot of those are mammals. And he learned it's the vitamins, it's the minerals. It's just amazing. And all the info's at InfoWarsTeam.com. I want to go to phone calls, but let's get into those lawsuits. I mean, Dr. Wallach is actually going after them. He's beating them over and over again. How does he do that?
Well, it's because he's got the truth on his side, and, good lawyers also, right? I mean, you got to have a good lawyer, you got to have the truth on your side, and then, you can't, 2 + 2 = 4, no matter how many people want to tell you that it equals 5. Well, guess what? It equals 4. I'll tell you 2 of Wallach's lawsuits. We can legally say, because of Dr. Wallach. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but Wallach doesn't make any money from the sale of vitamins and longevity. He removed himself from that revenue stream on purpose so that people couldn't, snake in the grass critics can't rise up and say, oh, that Wallach, he's just trying to make money selling vitamins. Well, guess what? He doesn't make any. And he's sued the FDA on your behalf out of his own pocket. A lot. So 2 of his health claims, we can say that essential fatty acids virtually eliminate the risk of stroke. This is omega-3, omega-6, and 9. The only reason that you get a stroke is because your blood starts clotting funny. The only reason your blood starts clotting funny is not because you have a bad gene, not because you have a voodoo curse, and certainly not because you have a coumadin deficiency. It's because your blood has run out of the raw materials it needs to maintain its health. It's that simple. And we can say that 200 micrograms of selenium supplementation reduces the occurrence of breast cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer 82%, prostate cancer 69%, colon cancer 64%, and lung cancer 39%. And that was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association in 1998.
But no one knows it, and you're called evil if you tell. Oh, look, all I go on is the weight loss because I didn't have any medical issues. Other than, I guess, every once in a while, a little bit of breakout, which, by the way, I'm not having anymore since I've really actually been taking the regimen. And a year and a half ago when I first got into it, I did a little bit, but I wasn't in the habit of doing it. And I felt some effects, so I thought, well, this is good, I'll endorse it. But now that I've really gotten into it and take the products, I'm like, well, I better start taking all these other products and researching. And that's why I only promote 5 or 6 of them, because those are the ones that I've seen effects, or family or friends, that longevity's developed, and that we promote at InfoWarsTeam.com. But again, expanding on all of that, the weight loss issue, they don't even advertise Pollen Burst, Rebound, Beyond Tangy Tangerine for weight loss. This is the, I guess, side effect of not being as hungry. I mean, I literally eat half what I used to, and I'm satisfied, and it's incredible.
Look, weight gain is a deficiency disease. The MDs have completely got it 100% ass backwards. Weight gain is a deficiency disease. It is not a disease of excess. Here's how it goes. By the way, we have the secret to weight loss, not even Oprah knows. And if you know Oprah, you better get her on the phone, because when we help Oprah lose weight with health the way that you did, that's when we're really going to start to change the world. Your body has nutrient needs that are impossible to be met by food. You cannot meet your body's nutritional needs just by eating food. So everybody's nutritional tank is at least half full. And then the stress of life comes rolling in. You get more and more and more and more depleted in nutrients. When your body reaches a certain level of nutritional lowness, your central nervous system freaks out, because it knows that you're running on fumes. It knows that something bad's going to happen to your heart, your lungs, your liver, your brain. Something's going to break. So what does it do? It makes you eat. The only reason people gain weight is because they eat too many calories, right? Nobody in Auschwitz was overweight. I don't care what their genes were. I don't care what their pre-existing medical condition was. If you do not eat, you lose weight. The only thing that makes us gain weight is we eat too many calories. The only thing that makes us eat too many calories is our bodies are nutritionally starved. But you go to your MD, he tells you your stomach's too big, got to cut it out, got to put a band around it. Oh, you're depressed. Oh, you're lazy. Oh, it's genetic. Guess what? Wrong, 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 and wrong. The only reason people gain weight is they eat too many calories. The only reason you eat too many calories is because you're nutritionally starved. So when you take the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the essential fatty acids and the liquid plant minerals, and when you give your body the nutrients it needs, you fill that tank up, guess what? You're nutritionally satisfied. So you go to Olive Garden, there's 3,000 calories on the plate, you eat 500, take the rest home in a doggy bag because you're satisfied. And the weight starts falling off without problems. The best kept secret in the United States right now. No kidding.
Well, the proof's in the pudding. Aaron, 90 plus pounds now. I'm at 42 and a half pounds or so. And it's just incredible. In fact, I'm going to have some tangy tangerine right now, and I like to mix pollen burst in with it, because guess what? I rarely now drink coffee in the afternoon and at night like I used to. When I take a pollen burst with all the B vitamins and it's got some caffeine in it, it's a clean awake instead of what is in coffee. I'm not bashing coffee. I love the way it tastes and smells, but what's the difference between a pollen burst and a cup of coffee?
Well, there's a great deal of difference between a pollen burst and a cup of coffee, unless, of course, you're using Java Fit coffee by the Longevity Company, because that's been imbued with vitamins and minerals. The pollen burst has vitamins and minerals and essential fat, and it has vitamins and minerals in it that your body needs to burn the energy that is already available to it properly. It's kind of like a turbocharger for, your car. Kind of like the NOx, you press the button and you squirt the nitrogen into the tank and the car takes off like a bat out of hell. Well, the pollen burst gives your body the raw materials that it needs to process the energy that it already has more efficiently. And man, it's fantastic. And I really can't, Wallach doesn't talk about himself enough. He's a very humble man. And as God is my witness, that man has forgotten more about science, has forgotten more about science and medical nutrition than most doctors know. That's what I'm trying to say. He is unbelievable.
Well, it's true, and we're about to go to break and come back and take a few calls for 2 short segments. We're going to have you back, but go over, because, Wallach will say, type 2 diabetes, you can almost completely reverse it, blah, 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 on and on and on. And I'm like, yeah, right, even though I know this stuff's great. And then I start getting the calls from people that have actually tried it, and they're saying, wow, why did my medical doctor tell me this? What's happening there?
Well, here's the deal. Your MD is only trained in pharmaceutical and surgical medicine. That's all they're trained in. They have no training, no respect, no appreciation, and no experience with anything other than drugs. And see, the problem with medicine in the United States is that the medical training, the training of an MD is a meat grinder. So when you come out of medical school as an MD, you actually believe that if you weren't taught it in medical school, it's just not valid. These MDs, bless their hearts, are like colorblind art critics. All they know is drugs and surgery all the time. You want advice about medical nutrition? Come to see us. We've got you covered.
diseases of the bones and joints. It's all off the charts. You can go to the statistics. The United States leads the world in all of it. And it is the MD system. And that's what not just Wallach, but Blaylock breaks that down. He's a brain surgeon. And a lot of other people are starting to get this. So the establishment's trying to come in to block this information. That's why it's so... My dad is a physician, oral surgeon, dentist. He's afraid to go. Growing up, they almost killed me when I had surgery on my leg. And I don't want to get into the whole story. But, you know,
Well, MD-directed medical treatments are the leading cause of death in the United States. I mean, the numbers are in. Numbers don't lie. The third leading cause of death is cancer, 550,000 people a year. Second, heart disease, 700,000. The leading cause of death in the United States is treatments delivered by MDs, 780,000 people a year. Stop giving them your money.
And look how long doctors live. That's why it's dead doctors don't lie, do they?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. You know, I want to read you a quote real quick here. This was from Benjamin Rush, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence 200 years ago. Unless we put medical freedom into the Constitution, the time will come when medicine will organize itself into a dictatorship to restrict the art of healing to one class of men and deny equal privileges to others will constitute the Bastille of medical science, and that is exactly what we have in the United States. It is an out-of-control medical monopoly.
As my sister-in-law just got out of medical school. She's in her last year of residency, and we haven't been giving our daughter vaccinations, and she acts like we're horrible parents for that. And her response is she shows us, you know, what measles does and what the effects of all these diseases.
Oh, really? Shoving her face the San Francisco Chronicle 2 months ago, where they had to begrudgingly admit, after we'd already reported on it, that almost all the new whooping cough cases were of the vaccinated. Look, Bill Gates just gave 46,000 plus people polio with the vaccine. They just call it something else. I mean, it's a joke. What would you say to this new doctor who's on such a power trip, Dr. Glidden?
Well, you know, this is the thing. You can't fix stupid. And, you know, trying to convince an MD who's fresh out of medical school that there is another alternative, or that one aspect of their therapeutics are wrong and not working, it's a fool's errand. It's never going to work. It's like trying to convince a slave owner that slaves are people and not animals. It's not going to work. I would just move on. Don't worry about it. Go tell her to pound sand. That's what I would do.
Well, but, you know, they're also pushing, Doc, to make people take shots now. And
yeah. And they're also pushing us to have mandatory health insurance, right? Are you kidding me? So they're going to make us, it's going to be a law to make us buy insurance to gain access to a system of medicine that doesn't work. You've got to be kidding me.
What about how they're forcing chemotherapy on people now? I mean, it's a total tyranny.
Don't even get me started. Chemotherapy I'm going to pull up the reference. I think it was 1994, the Journal of Clinical Oncology. Journal of Clinical Oncology. They did a 12-year study on adults who developed cancer and were treated with chemotherapy. It was published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology, and here were the results. 97% of the time, chemotherapy does not work. It doesn't work. That was published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology. Now, can somebody please tell me why chemotherapy clinics are popping up like dandelions? Because
they're killing us. They're murdering us. Listen.
A for-profit industry.
They know,
right?
Doc, you know my research in eugenics. Have you found that this is a premeditated program?
Well, there's evidence to support that fact, Alex. I'm not sure that they're that smart. I think that there might be a cadre of people involved at the top that was their intention.
No, exactly. No. The low level are just compartmentalized, not even thinking. I agree, yeah.
I agree with you there.
Well, all I know is
when you look at the numbers. I mean, if it looks like a duck, sounds like a duck, flies like a duck, it's probably a duck.
But it doesn't matter. I was looking at statistics where many pediatric cancers are up 10,000% from 1950. I mean, this is incredible.
Well, while MDs have been driving the bus, Alzheimer's has risen from obscurity to the 6th leading cause of death. Now 1 out of 88 kids are autistic. 30%, there's been a 30% increase in childhood obesity. Blood pressure's through the roof. Type 2 diabetes is going through the roof. Our life expectancy is going down, all because we go to MDs. Stop it. Get educated about medical nutrition, folks. You do not know what you're missing.
And it's simple. Get Beyond Tangy Tangerine, Pollen Burst, and other products at Infowars.